Hello guys, let's discuss Lisabi 2. I am not telling a lie if I told you that I slept 3 times while I was trying to watch Lisabi 2. The fighting scenes in this film were too much and it just made the film boring. And what happened to the Yoruba culture of the fact that Yoruba kings are not meant to see dead bodies? And these people brought the feast of dead bodies for the king and he was there feeding his eyes with it. Welcome back to this space and let us discuss everything Lisabi 2. I am Loba and on this page we do movie reviews and reality TV shows conversation. If you're seeing this page, this channel for the very first time, please do the needful by clicking on the subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So let us have this conversation. And the very first thing we need to discuss is the plot. I think I will always emphasize it in this is that when the plot of a movie is good, it can always make people look past some things that might not turn out to be good in the movie. But if the plot of a movie is flawed, every other thing that comes with this movie we tend to not really do well. Every other thing that comes with the movie, we tend not to really do well. And for this one, I think the plot was not up to expectation and was not even good enough. I hate the fact that they wasted close to 1 hour of our time telling us the story of how the Egba people conquered the Oyos or how the Egba people were able to fight their freedom. And I think this is a story or this is something that has been established from the very first part. And I do not see reason why they have to overstretch this narrative. It was so boring. Then let's talk about the backstory that I think I'm already going. So let me say the plots were not engaging. It bored us throughout and it bored us for too long before getting to give us something that probably we need to see. And I felt like they should have gone straight into the dynamic of how things turn out to be for Lisabi after he had helped his people conquer this oppressors they've been suffering from. If probably this second part had gone straight into that and they did not waste too much time into talking about them how they were able to get their freedom, because I think this is something that has been established from the very first part and we do not need to be bored with this narrative again. Then the plots, I don't know if probably I'm already talking plot or storytelling, but I'm just so confused. And I don't like to do movie reviews or discussion about movies where I just keep talking, I just keep having a lot of negative things to say about a movie. Sometimes I don't always want to even do the review. And let's talk about some backstories that were told here. And I felt like those backstory could have been something that they could have established better or probably use it to give us a better story. What happened to having a better development into the story of Lisabi's mother, who she was, like so many unanswered questions. We just saw that scene where she was struggling and she was being pursued, but we do not get to know why was she being who killed her, why were they after her. Like I think those are questions, those are story that we need to know. And if probably you don't have answers to such story or to such narrative, don't just bring it. Don't just put yourself in a situation where people will ask you questions and you don't have access to that. So it's just better you don't bring it up, or if you're bringing it up, you should be able to do it well. So I think that's one thing they failed us at. Then let us go into the storytelling. I think the storytelling was not so great since their plot was not so good. How can storytelling be good? I find it so tiring watching this. Then the acting and character development, so bad also. Considering what we saw the very first part, then getting to see something, probably we get to see development, but every other character that come from the very first part of this movie to the second part seem to find themselves not having any development. I think with Sabi, we get to see a bit for his end, but every other person in this film seemed to be just there. Their character development was flawed, not so good. Then the acting. Why were there so much of inconsistency with the acting and the actors? Yeah, there were a lot of good actors in this movie, but I think they did not give us anything. Nothing was given to us. Then I have something to say about the language use, the Eba dialect was what was utilized in this movie, but there seemed to be inconsistency. I don't know why they decide using the Egba dialect is a brilliant one. It's a good one. I applaud them from this for using this because I saw a number of movies last year which told Egba people's story, but their dialects were not properly used. But yeah, there seemed to be inconsistency. The Bimpe character, I've forgotten the name of that character in the movie. She wasn't speaking the language. Then when Olomide Oworu had a time to literally speak in this movie, he was sounding robotic. He was sounding like this guy can't speak Yoruba. Talk more of speaking the Egba dialect. A lot of them were not able to speak the Egba dialect. I feel like probably they should have worked so much on this and probably letting them do because a lot of them were not speaking their dialect and just few were speaking. So there seemed to be like inconsistency. And if you're telling a story of a society, I don't think there's a society where some people chooses to speak a certain dialect and other people in such society who do not have any we they do not have any story of probably haven't lived in another society or haven't migrated to that society, which could be excuse for them speaking a different dialect you get. So I do not see why they were inconsistency with the um language use. Then for directing and all of that, I know a lot of people had literally come for the movie directors and everybody behind this movie. And we all know there was this part where people were like the Lisabi child as the baby character who was wearing pampers. And I felt like, that's another thing. So I think there seem to be a lot of flaws with this storytelling. One thing that I do not really like the most was how they so much stretch the story, the fighting scenes, and how these people were able to get that freedom, I think it was so unnecessary. Then what else again? Then the effects you seem overly used. I feel like what was all of this? Why? Like I was not really intrigued with it. I just felt like it was too much. Then dialogue was boring. Like it was boring. Everything seemed to be not so good. So I think Lisa being so is just one of those movies that shouldn't have come, or one of those movies we're not supposed to see a second part to them. And that's everything I'm discussing for Lisabi. Bye.